Public Protector Busisiwe Mkhwebane says she cannot find evidence that former Social Development Minister Bathabile Dlamini deliberately misled Parliament on the Social Security Agency's inability to pay social grants. She was giving her findings on a complaint lodged by the DA, but she has damning findings against former IPID head, that's the police watchdog, Robert Mcbride, saying he was guilty of unethical conduct. Mcbride, who's applied for the job of Deputy Public Protector, says he will take her report on review. For more, we cross now to our reporter Sipho Stuurman in Pretoria, who was at a briefing by the Public Protector today. So Sipho, Bathabile Dlamini off the hook.
Well, a very good evening to you, Francis, and our viewers at home. Indeed, the former Minister of Social Development, Minister Bathabile Dlamini, is off the hook in terms of the Public Protector's findings. She says that she has obtained evidence that can that proves that Bathabile Dlamini did not deliberately misled Parliament on the question of SASSA's ability to continue distributing grants itself, saying that the evidence is obtained is that Bathabile Dlamini, the minister at the time, was of the impression that indeed SASSA could take over the cash master payment services on its own. And so at the time where she gave this response to Parliament, she indeed was speaking from the best of her knowledge, and that she had not lied or deliberately misled the Parliament. Of course, we now know that Bathabile has since been left out of cabinet by President Ramaphosa. So then it makes it a moot point, because at this point in time she's no longer a member of Parliament. She's no longer a member of cabinet, so her findings then would not have had a binding effect in any case on Bathabile Dlamini, because she's no longer a member of Parliament and she's no longer a member of the executive.
We all remember that Bathabile Dlamini was found to have misled the Constitutional Court. That's what the Constitutional Court said. Was that different, or are there similarities here? Then you have two different institutions with two different findings in effect.
Well, the report, the Public Protector, does allude to the Constitutional Court findings, and she says that's a separate process altogether, removed from her process, because remember, she was investigating Bathabile as a member of the executive and a member of Parliament who allegedly misled Parliament. So she says the court process and her process are indeed different. So it's her process that has cleared Bathabile Dlamini. However, we know the Court made adverse findings against Bathabile Dlamini, and she was also then found that she must personally pay for the cost order in that whole SASSA matter. So the Public Protector has said that we must differentiate between the Court findings and her own findings. And in fact, she says that the Court findings are more about compliance, and that she actually agrees with the Court findings against Bathabile Dlamini. But when it comes to issue of whether she misled Parliament or not, she has found that she did not deliberately mislead Parliament, and so hence her findings.
All right, so slightly different. Then Robert Mcbride, former head of IPID, which is the police watchdog body, in what ways does she find him to have acted unethically?
Oh, this is very interesting, Francis, and you can just give me a minute to give the context here, because Robert Mcbride was recently announced as one of the 28 candidates that are in the running for the position of Deputy Public Protector. The current Deputy Public Protector's tenure is ending in December. So now there is, of course, efforts by Parliament to look for somebody to replace the current deputy. And Robert Mcbride has been nominated as part of those 28 candidates. Now we have the Public Protector releasing this report against IPID on three findings, in findings that allege improper conduct by Robert Mcbride, abuse of power by Robert Mcbride. And this it all relates to three key issues. One is that they appointed a service provider without following proper procedures, and that this obviously happened under Mcbride. And also a deputy director within IPID was given a position that did not exist, and this position was created. And the Public Protector alleges that this was all with the full knowledge of Robert Mcbride and did not act to stop this. And The last part is that an employee, or rather a whistleblower that took this matter to the public protector, alleging this unethical conduct by Mcbride, was suspended and dismissed unfairly. So those are the three key findings that public protector has found against Mcbride. Now, it makes it very difficult for somebody who wants to be a deputy of an institution that has just made these damning findings against him. But of course, Robert Mcbride has released a media statement saying that the timing of this report is quite curious, and that she found and that he will actually go on review of this report. Where that takes his chances in terms of becoming a deputy, public protector, well, we don't know. But right now, the findings of the public protector are damning against Robert Mcbride.
Yeah, and if he is appointed, I wonder if this would make the working relationship difficult. Thank you for that wrap-up. The public protector releasing a slew of findings today. That was Sipho Stuurman in Pretoria.